Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Late Night Brew, where we talk the brews first, then we get around to it. I am your host, Robert Buktenica, also known as Buck, and joining with me for the next episode of the tenant-to-tenant migration series is Joe. Welcome back once again.
Yeah, welcome to be here. Thank you.
Before we dive into the migration approach, planning, all of that in-depth preparatory stuff for getting the big move going, we know, of course, the drill. What brew are you having with me today?
Well, actually, I'm stepping out today. I'm not usually a big salsa fan, but I don't know if you can see it's a
Yeah.
Truly.
Oh, yeah.
It's the strawberry lemonade. So, and I'm a big lemonade fan, and I'm a flavored lemonade fan. So, I thought I'd try it. It's not too bad. I'm not usually a big carbonated guy, but it works.
Fair. I was gonna say the last one you were having pop, and now you're having a salt.
I know. See that?
What's going on, Joe?
I know. Crazy. Getting wild.
I was gonna say twice now. My goodness. It is, well, it's from the keg, but it is citrus season, and so I have lots of fresh orange juice. So I'm doing my shandy of 50-50 orange juice and heft beer. So I don't have a fun label to show or anything, but just other. I am very much enjoying the fruits of my labor.
Yeah, I love orange juice, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's delicious.
Yeah, when it's fresh squeezed, it's really good. So I will be very sad when the season ends and I finally run out. On that, what are the different ways to perform a migration?
Yeah, that's a very nebulous question, of course.
Got to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to carve out a tenant migration. Of course, the first and most critical component of planning any migration is to come up with a migration plan, right? And that's really is going to be your roadmap to how to execute the actual migration. It's important to actually put it on paper, plan it all out, get sign off from everybody so that, should you have to make an adjustment, at least you have a documented record of decisions on how we were going to proceed and the reasons why we were going with that approach, so that if
Right.
you have to shift, you can make the adjustments accordingly. So that's a big part of it. And then, of course, testing, right? It's always good to have a test plan as well. You don't just want to dive in and start, migrating production users. And so having a valid test plan with test cases that, again, align to your business requirements and your business processes, right? It's easy, from a test case perspective, you can think of a very simple test case of, has all the data migrated from one mailbox to another.
Yeah.
But what if you have a unique use case where, you maybe have an application that's sending to that mailbox, right? So you want to make sure that you include those types of test cases as well to make sure that, yep, mail's still flowing even after we do the migration. So those are a couple different critical components. But when you actually get into the execution of the migration, or I should say, identify strategies for the migration, right?
Right.
There are some definite strategies in conducting a tenant migration. The first being, Microsoft heavily throttles on the SharePoint side, especially during the week. And when you think about all of the different workloads that you might be migrating as part of quote unquote SharePoint, so SharePoint teams, OneDrive groups,
OneDrive.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the back end for all of those is SharePoint. So it's not like within the migration tool, you can just kick off all of those workloads all at once. So you really have to think about, what's the priority? And usually it's the user data, right? Even from a mailbox perspective, right? You want to make sure that from a mailbox perspective, the user has the most current email, the most current calendar information, and then you can trail things like the dumpster, or things, or an archive mailbox, right? That aren't as critical that they don't need day one. So you can
Yeah.
trickle those in after the cutover. Same thing with SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, groups, right? It's usually OneDrive is the primary workload to get over so that the users can immediately start working with their most current data. And then you have to come up with, again, a strategy for the other workloads, right? Are there some critical, what are the top 5, 10, 15, 20 critical SharePoint sites, teams, and so forth, that you might have to do those migrations first and then trickle in, all of the other remaining sites, so you get a
Yeah.
stack rank and so forth. Mhm,
So with all of these, and I know we're just scratching the
mhm.
surface of the reality of it.
Mhm,
With mapping all of this out and understanding, the layers and the when and what really, who all should be part of these discussions? I mean, beyond just IT, right?
mhm,
The techs who are actually going to be helping out and supporting, but
mhm,
who else needs to be involved in conversations to
mhm.
understand and craft all of this?
Yeah, well, the data owners for sure. So again, when you think SharePoint, right, you have data owners, most likely site owners and so forth, that they have to be a part of that because only they can know what's critical and what's not, right? And so you have to get them involved so you can determine again what goes first, what goes last, that type of thing. So that's very important. And then I know we talked a lot about the communications planning as well. So getting the
Yeah,
end users involved and just making sure they're fully aware of what's coming as well, because they might have some concerns or know of specific use cases that have to be addressed as part of this as well.
awesome.
Mhm.
Well, lots and lots there, and I'm sure we could spend lots of more time. We do have a few more episodes to film, so there will be. Please, if you have any more questions or want to know more, reach out. We are here to help. Until then, Joe, take care. Have a great rest of
Yep.
your day, sir.
Yeah. Yep. You too, sir. Take care.